Celtic folklore dates back centuries, only being written down by Christian scribes in the early medieval era. However, the creatures that exist within our mythology can be elusive, often varying between different sightings, stories, and scriptures. The first in our mythology list is the Kelpie. The Kelpie has been described to be a shape-shifting spirit that settled among the Scottish lochs. These equine creatures are said to have either black, grey, or white hair, with seaweed found among their locks. However, their most defining trait is their hooves, which were said to be backwards, a clear indicator that you weren't encountering any normal horse. They were also said to have a human form, to woo unsuspecting passers-by. Within its equine form, Kelpies would often offer rides to curious strangers, but this would often prove fatal, as their skin was said to be sticky, clinging to anyone unfortunate enough to trust the evil spirit. It would then dive into the deepest parts of the loch, drowning and eventually eating its victim. If you ever encounter a Kelpie, make sure to remove its silver bridle if it has one, as it's said that you can tame or command the Kelpie, saving you from being its next meal. But the waters weren't always so dangerous. In both Scotland and Ireland, the Selkie was noted to also be a shapeshifter. However, unlike the Kelpie, these creatures shifted between seal and human, turning them into seals to live a life in the sea, and shedding their seal coat to live on land. Many tales tell of beautiful Selkies, who in some cases have romantic relationships with humans. However, the marriage between a Selkie and a human might not have always been so happy, as tales tell of humans stealing their seal skin, forcing their partner to stay on land forever, longing to return to their home in the sea. So, if you ever encounter a woman on the beach asking if you've seen her coat, it might be a good idea to help her look. Where the Selkies long for their home in the sea, our next creature is one that instead longs for the home of families in Ireland. The changeling is a fairy child, said sometimes to appear sickly, or with a beard or long teeth. A common way to spot a changeling is by watching its behavior in secret, to make sure you don't see it jumping around, dancing, or even playing music. Human children will be swapped for a changeling for various reasons, either to use the child as a slave, or to have as their own child. In rare cases, the fairy child was elderly, and would be swapped out with a human child to live out the rest of its years in the comfort of their new parents' arms. Fairies are said to be scared of iron, so make sure to keep some around your newborn, or you might just have a visit from the Fae. The legends of these creatures remind us that fiction might just be reality, and we hope you take this book's advice. In the unlikely event you might just find yourself face to face with any of these creatures.